Tonight, we witness a seismic shift in American trade policy, one that will reverberate across continents and industries for years to come. The Supreme Court has struck down the Trump-era tariffs, sending shockwaves from Asia's bustling factories to the busy ports of California. The decision is already rippling through the global supply chain, affecting how goods move, how businesses plan, and how consumers shop. This ruling marks the end of a contentious and transformative chapter in U.S. economic history. For years, these tariffs have been at the center of heated debates, lawsuits, and international negotiations. Now, with the court's decision, a new era begins, one filled with both uncertainty and opportunity. These tariffs reshaped global supply chains, forced companies to rethink sourcing, and led to higher prices for everyday goods. They also fueled tensions between trading partners, sparking retaliatory measures and uncertainty for businesses and families alike. With the tariffs now overturned, the landscape has shifted dramatically. The court ruled that the tariffs overstepped executive authority, a landmark decision that could result in billions of dollars in refunds to affected companies. For many business owners, this is a long-awaited relief, but for others, it raises new questions about the future of American manufacturing. The decision now forces both the administration and Congress to chart a new, more collaborative course on trade policy. Lawmakers must grapple with how to protect American jobs while keeping the nation competitive in a rapidly changing global market. Importers, who have long struggled with rising costs, are breathing a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, domestic manufacturers, who benefited from the tariffs, are left with uncertainty and concern about increased competition. Tonight, we break down what this historic decision means for you, for the broader economy, and for America's place in the world. From the prices you pay at the store, to the jobs in your community, the effects will be far-reaching. We'll explore the history behind these tariffs, the immediate impact of the court's ruling, and the political fallout that's sure to follow. How did we get here, and what comes next? The story of these tariffs is complex, woven into the fabric of global commerce and everyday life. Its conclusion will be felt by everyone, from business leaders to workers, from families to policymakers. This is a pivotal moment for the American economy and its global role, a turning point that will shape the future of trade, prosperity, and international cooperation for years to come. To truly grasp the significance of today's Supreme Court ruling, we need to journey back and examine the origins and evolution of these controversial tariffs. Understanding the context behind these policies is essential to appreciating the impact of the court's decision. In 2018, the Trump administration made headlines by imposing sweeping tariffs on a wide range of imports, with a particular focus on goods from China. The administration argued that these measures were necessary to counter what it described as unfair trade practices, intellectual property theft, and a growing trade deficit that threatened American jobs and industries. The primary goal was to make foreign goods more expensive for American consumers, thereby encouraging people to buy domestically produced products. This, in turn, was meant to revitalize U.S. manufacturing, create jobs, and put economic pressure on China to change its trade policies and open its markets. This marked a dramatic departure from decades of bipartisan support for free trade, which had defined U.S. economic policy since the late 20th century. For years, both parties had championed open markets and global commerce, making the tariffs a striking reversal. The tariffs quickly ignited a trade war. China responded with its own retaliatory tariffs, targeting American agricultural products and other key exports. U.S. farmers in particular felt the brunt of these countermeasures, facing plummeting sales and growing uncertainty about their livelihoods. While some domestic producers like steel and aluminum manufacturers welcomed the new protections and saw short-term gains, the majority of American businesses struggled with rising costs, disrupted supply chains, and an unpredictable business environment. Almost immediately, a wave of legal challenges emerged. Critics argued that the administration had overstepped its legal authority, bypassing Congress and imposing tariffs that were broader and more punitive than the law allowed. Lawsuits contended that the scope and scale of the tariffs far exceeded what Congress had intended when it granted the executive branch certain trade powers, raising fundamental questions about the separation of powers. After years of complex and contentious legal battles, the issue finally reached the Supreme Court. Today's decision brings closure to a long and divisive chapter in American trade policy, one that has shaped the economic landscape for years. The Supreme Court's ruling stands as the definitive word on this turbulent era, signaling the end of a fierce debate over the limits of presidential power and the future direction of U.S. trade relations. The Supreme Court's decision landed just after 10 a.m. Eastern. In a 6-3 ruling, the court found the tariffs unlawful, citing procedural failures. Businesses could now claim over $100 billion in refunds. Retailers and tech companies hailed the decision as a victory for consumers and the economy. Unions and manufacturers warned it leaves U.S. industries exposed to unfair competition. The debate between protecting jobs and lowering costs is now front and center. Tariffs had cost U.S. households over $1,200 a year. With tariffs gone, the focus shifts to how quickly prices will fall. Logistics experts predict a surge in imports as companies restock. The Port of Los Angeles is already preparing for increased container traffic. The economic ripple effects are just beginning. The nation is bracing for rapid change. The Supreme Court's decision reshapes the political landscape. The administration now has a clean slate to redefine trade policy with China. The White House promises a new strategy, working with Congress and allies, but pressure mounts from unions and manufacturing states for new protections. Some lawmakers call for fresh legislation to support U.S. industries. The ruling is a major check on executive power, reinforcing Congress's role in trade. Future presidents may be more cautious in using tariffs as a policy tool. Internationally, allies welcome the move as a step toward stability. China signals hope for improved relations, but competition remains fierce. The decision is a turning point in both domestic and global politics. The economic impact is immediate and far-reaching. As soon as the news broke, global markets and businesses began to react, setting off a chain of events that would ripple through every sector of the economy. Stock markets surged, led by gains in retail and tech. Investors responded with optimism, driving up share prices and injecting new energy into the financial world. Companies like Apple and Nike saw shares jump as investors bet on lower costs and higher profits. These industry giants, with their global supply chains, stand to benefit significantly from reduced tariffs and improved trade conditions. Large firms will seek tariff refunds, fueling new investments and financial recovery. With extra capital on hand, many corporations are expected to accelerate expansion plans, hire more workers, and invest in innovation. Supply chains are being reevaluated. Some production may return to China. Companies are now weighing the benefits of shifting operations back to established manufacturing hubs, hoping to streamline costs and improve efficiency. For small businesses, the ruling is a lifeline. Lower costs mean lower prices and a chance to recover lost sales. Many local shops and independent retailers, who struggled under the weight of higher tariffs, now see a path to renewed growth and stability. But the transition won't be smooth. Adjusting to new regulations, updating contracts, and managing inventory will present real challenges for businesses of all sizes. Logistics firms brace for a flood of imports, risking short-term bottlenecks and shipping delays. Ports and warehouses are preparing for increased activity, but the sudden surge could strain resources and slow deliveries. Experts warn of volatility as supply chains adjust. Economic analysts caution that while the long-term outlook is positive, the coming months may see unpredictable swings in prices and availability. While long-term costs should fall, the immediate aftermath may be disruptive. Businesses must adapt quickly to new realities, balancing opportunity with risk as they navigate this period of change. Small businesses hope to regain customers and stability. Many are already seeing increased foot traffic and renewed interest from shoppers eager for better prices and more choices. The entire economy is set for a period of rapid adjustment. From manufacturing to retail, every industry will need to adapt, innovate, and find new ways to thrive in this evolving landscape. The effects will be felt from Wall Street to Main Street, touching the lives of investors, business owners, workers, and everyday consumers across the nation. For consumers, relief is on the horizon. The tariffs acted as a hidden tax, raising prices on everyday goods. With their removal, economists expect prices to drop in coming months. Manufacturing towns, once shielded by tariffs, now face uncertainty and anxiety. Policymakers must support these communities through job retraining and investment. Meanwhile, logistics and retail sectors anticipate growth and new hiring. The economic shift is complex. Some win, others lose. Farmers hit hard by China's retaliation may regain access to critical export markets. The end of tariffs could stabilize agriculture and rural economies. The fate of communities across America is tied to these evolving trade relationships. The challenge balance opportunity with support for those left vulnerable. Let's visualize the impact. Before tariffs, the US-China trade route was the world's busiest. Tariffs slowed this flow, forcing companies to seek alternatives in Vietnam, Mexico, and beyond. With tariffs gone, trade patterns will shift again. Many firms may return to Chinese suppliers. The economic map is redrawn, highlighting the scale and sensitivity of global trade. US imports from China once topped 500 billion. That number dipped as trade shifted elsewhere. Imports from Vietnam nearly doubled during the tariff era. Today's ruling will reverse some trends, but not all. The global economy is interconnected and ever-changing. Policy decisions in Washington ripple across continents. Understanding this geography is key to our economic future. What does the future hold? Experts predict a short-term surge in imports and gradual price drops for consumers. The administration faces a chance to reset trade relations with China, without the baggage of the old tariffs. Legally, the ruling restores Congress's authority over major trade decisions. Some warn the US is losing a tool to counter unfair practices, urging Congress to act. Most analysts see the end of tariffs as a net positive, but challenges with China remain. Strategic competition over technology and security will continue. The next steps are crucial. The US must craft a long-term strategic trade policy. The era of broad, unilateral tariffs is over. Now begins an era of targeted, deliberate trade strategy. The choices made now will shape America's economic future. The world is watching. Tonight, America stands at a crossroads. The Supreme Court's decision closes one chapter and opens another. The immediate effects, market surges, relief for importers, anxiety for some producers, are just the start. The real challenge is shaping the future. Policymakers must support vulnerable workers while embracing the benefits of open trade. This moment demands bipartisan action and smart diplomacy. Our economy's resilience and global leadership are at stake. Trade policy shapes the price of goods, the security of jobs, and the nation's strength. The next moves will define America's prosperity for a generation. The world is watching to see what we do next.